Hello and welcome to another section in further mathematics. We'll be looking at what a flow chart. But before we continue, I would like us to take a quick review on our previous lesson. Okay, welcome back. Now, what is a flow chart? A flow chart is a diagrammatic representation of a solution to a problem. Now, when you talk about a flow chart, it just talks about showing the solution of a problem using a chart. Now, with what you can see in front of us, a flow chart always starts with a circle and ends with a circle. Now, while within it, you have rectangles showing the processes that takes place in a particular problem. So, for example, this is a start point. This is our start point. And this is our stop point. Now, in between it, you have series of activities that we can say, okay, let's write the flow chart of how to reading effectively. Now, talking about the flow chart of how to reading effectively, there are some things we really need to take into consideration that will help us to know how to reading effectively. Number one is building your zeal. You can put that as one of the problem. Building your zeal towards reading. Number two, having reading materials or buying. You can say buying reading materials. Then number three, you say creating more time for reading. Now, when you talk about battling your problems, what are the things that you can put together that will help you to achieving what you want to achieve? Number one is building your zeal towards reading. When you have to stay and start telling yourself, because for you to learn how to read, it is something that you will have to advise yourself. Okay, see, I think this reading will help me in future. This reading will help me seeing the importance of reading. So by that, you start neglecting some of the things that will make you not to read. Secondly, buying reading material. Sometimes it might not really be expensive, might not be cost intensive, might be a zero cost. You be having access to a material like this, you're buying it, but you're buying it with your time. Yes, you're buying it with your time, because some other persons have the same privilege the way you're having now, but they are busy out there playing football, doing series of things that will not help in enhancing their education or their academics. But you are here using your time to be a part of this lesson. So you are actually buying the materials, getting so many things that will help you in being a good or effective reader. Now, I don't know, reading is something that you really need to carve out time for. You really need to come out and say, okay, this is what I really want to achieve. By the time you prepare a flow chart showing, okay, these are the things I need to do, then I will get to this point. You see yourself achieving it. So the flow chart, as we all know, there's an arrow that indicates the direction of what you're supposed to do. If I ask you, can you create a flow chart of how to prepare food? You can write one, start. The first step is one, putting on your stove or lighting the material needed. Number two, placing your pot. Placing your pot. This is number two, placing your pot. Number three, just like you're giving me steps on how to cook till you get to the point that you end it with what? With stop. That's to say your food is ready. So that is how you just calm down in preparing the flow chart of how to preparing a good food or how to making a good soup. So what's the advantage of a flow chart in solving problem? Now, advantage of flow chart is that a flow chart plays a very important role in computer programming. You can see programmers usually prepare flow charts to tell them how to start, where they are starting, the programs they are to write, the program that is supposed to come before the other, what is the first step, the second step, till you get to the last part of the programming. Now, it facilitates the interpretation and solution of problems. When you talk about facilitating, it means it helps, it enhances, it makes it possible at even a faster time of one to understand the solution to a given problem. Instead of solving, you do this, you write this, you write this. If you prepare a flow chart, the arrow, this arrow shows direction. The arrows, or the arrows you're seeing here, signifies direction. It shows that this particular activity comes before this activity comes before this activity comes before this. Sometimes at a certain point you can see a flow chart showing okay, when you get here and it's not working, you go this way and return back to the first step. It's possible. You can see some flow chart that looks this way. That's to say, if you get to this point and you're not achieving what you want, you go back and start all over. It's possible too. So, but the arrow, and in this point you see the arrow going this way, showing that okay, at this point you need to go back to where you started from. So it shows you, gives you guideline on what to do and how to do them. So that is how flowchart works. Now it can be easily understood. Now with what I just stated here, you know that okay, this one comes first, this one, it shows a step-by-step algorithm. It shows the step-by-step processes of what you ought to do at a given point in time. You know, by in cooking, let me say I want to prepare a flow chart of how to prepare food or how to prepare rice, and I'll start with number one. I want to say start. I start the rice preparation with heating of water. Let me just write like this. Then I now say, okay, the next step is bringing the pot down, or bringing down the pot. Imagine. Then I now come again and say, putting my meat, my fish. It's wrong. You only bring it down when the food is ready. So flow chart shows you that after this step, this is necessary. So bringing the pot down does not come before putting your meat and no, you arrange this, and with a flow chart, anybody that have an access to flow chart can go ahead in achieving your aim or your purpose even when you are not there. So if you prepare a flow chart like this and say, okay, in cooking or in trying to prepare a meal, these are the criteria. If when you're stating your criteria, make sure you state it in a mannerly form, step by step. The ones that comes before this, this one comes before this one comes after this one is next to this. Then with that, it can be easily understood by everyone. Now it can help in planning and development of algorithm for solving problems. So we're talking about algorithm, we're talking about the step-by-step process in achieving an aim or a process in what you really want to do. So I think with this knowledge of flowchart, you've been able to understand what it means to actually design an accurate and wonderful flowchart that will help you in your day-to-day activities. So I would like to say a very big thank you for being part of this lesson. But in order to refresh your memory on what we've just discussed, please take the test that will appear on your screen soon. Do well to use the lesson notes on the platform for better information on the topic we've discussed. Thank you and see you in our next lesson.